In a small town near green hills and a gentle stream, there lived Eve, a kind and warm elderly woman. Her home was a simple cottage at the edge of the town, surrounded by a garden, a few fruit trees, and a fence that whispered in the breeze. Eve had no children of her own, and her husband had passed away many years before. But Eve was not alone. She had Luma, her small hen with soft white feathers, black spots on her wings, and a little red comb. Luma followed Eve everywhere, clucking softly as if adding her own opinion to their conversations. The villagers would often smile when they saw the two slowly walking together. Eve with her cane and Luma waddling beside her like a loyal little friend. Every morning, as the sun painted the sky in orange and pink, Luma would lay a single warm, smooth egg. Eve would collect it with great care, hold it gently in her wrinkled hands, and whisper, "One is enough, my dear. May we always have just what we need." She would boil the egg, eat half for breakfast, and save the rest for dinner. Eve tended her small garden, grew her own vegetables, and lived with peace in her heart. One day something unusual happened. Luma laid 2 eggs instead of 1. Eve blinked. "2?" she whispered. "Well now, that's generous." She cooked 1 egg and took the second to the market. She didn't ask for much, just enough to buy a handful of rice and a piece of jaggery. In the following days, Luma continued to lay 2 eggs each morning. Soon the villagers noticed. "Sell both eggs, Eve," said one. "You should feed Luma more. Maybe she'll give 3, said another. "Think bigger. You could have 10 hens, make a business." But Eve only smiled warmly and said, "1 for me and 1 to share. That's enough." She gave the extra eggs to a poor family, to children on their way home from school, or quietly left them on someone's doorstep. People began calling her Egg Eve with affection. Then the monsoon came. The rain fell hard for days. The nearby stream overflowed. The fields were washed away, and many families fell into difficult times. But Luma kept laying 2 eggs each day, and Eve had been saving many. She boiled them, pickled them, and quietly handed them out to those in need, without asking for anything in return. One rainy afternoon, a group of villagers came to her and said, "Eve, why didn't you sell more when you had the chance? Why didn't you try to make more money?" Eve paused, looked at them warmly and said, "Because true happiness isn't about gathering more. It's about loving what we already have and sharing it when the time comes. I kept only what I needed. The rest was a gift to be shared." Luma clucked softly and snuggled against Eve's feet, as if in complete agreement. True happiness isn't about collecting more. It's about appreciating what we already have and choosing to share it with kindness. When we lift up others, we lift ourselves, and together we become rich in compassion, peace, and happiness. Vocabulary list: generous, willing to give more than expected. He was generous with his time, always helping those in need. Overflowed, spilled over the limit. After hours of rain, the river overflowed and flooded the streets. Waddling, walking with short, swaying steps. The ducklings were waddling after their mother, pickled, preserved in vinegar or brine. She pickled cucumbers to store them for the winter. Snuggled, moved into a warm, cozy position. The puppy snuggled into the blanket as it fell asleep. Tended, took care of. She lovingly tended the garden every morning. Want more stories like this? Click the video on your screen for more English stories. And in the comments, share what you learned from this.